Hey everyone, Tony Ivanov here. Just wanted to give a quick little video lesson for you all. Just give you guys a little update on what's hot in the market. As you guys know from last video, we were mainly watching the cannabis sector, but it seems like momentum has largely shifted over to the energy sector today. So last week we were watching NBEV. That one had a very nice run. Well, today they had a at the market offering. So this one was just getting massive dilution, and that one is now essentially done for. Same thing with IGC as well. They also had an at the market offering, so that one's largely done for as well. We did have some news after hours on TLRY today, of them having the medical cannabis exported over to Australia, so that gave him some hype on social media and stuff, and on CNBC. So that one got bought up after hours. Not sure how long this will last, because like I said, lots of the volume this trading day went over to OGEN, GBR, and the other energy plays. So let's just look at OGEN. This one had a pretty nice play. It was not the easiest one to trade, that's for sure. But it's the same thing that I've been repeating time and time again. If you guys don't know how to draw levels of support and resistance on the chart, you need to start practicing, because you can watch me do it for years, but if you don't just try and do it yourself, open up your program, look at a bunch of different charts, and try to just draw levels where you see resistance. So like right here, I see resistance at 93 cents. Here in pre-market, it topped out, stopped here, stopped here, stopped here. Okay, draw a line there. That is a level of resistance, and just do stuff like that. So we know down here in this area there is some support in this overall range. You can see we have this dip, and we have all these dips here in pre-market and market open. So it's going to be the same thing over and over again, guys. I'm just going to break down the charts, and I'm just going to draw out levels of support and resistance that I saw. So OGEN, this one had a bigger float, and essentially what I was looking for was a breakout over 93 cents. So this was the after hours top from Friday, and then today we had a pretty nice jump up in pre-market. So we bought this breakout at 92 cents in pre-market. It bounced up to $1. It found natural resistance at $1. It came back down. Look what happened. It bounced. Previous resistance becomes support. This is such a critical lesson for anyone who wants to use the charts to day trade. You have to understand that when you have a breakout like this, and the stock retraces and then it bounces off of that previous resistance level, that's a confirmed breakout, and it should bounce higher. So actually what I did is essentially buy this breakout. I took half my shares off at 99 cents, just under that $1 resistance, and then I bought back in here back at the support, and then I got rid of it at like 102, 103. The main play I did today was GBR. GBR was an awesome trade, and this one, same exact thing, just the levels of support and resistance. You can see, let's just erase all of these drawings. So now we have like a clean blank chart, and let's say that we are looking at GBR at this time, 10:30, with nothing else on the chart. What do we know? Well, the one thing we do know is that there is resistance at 2:30. You can see that here. We had the morning spike. It hit resistance. So boom, we draw our line there. All right. And then it looks like we were using VWAP as support. We held VWAP. We ramped up on big volume, and it broke out over 230. So then, okay, it hits a new high of around 265. So now we have broken through resistance at 230. We can assume that this will now act as support. So what do? If you want to play the dip buy, you leave orders out ahead of time. Now let's say you're using like 3,000 shares total. You want to buy 3,000 shares of GBR. say you have 1,000 at 235, 1,000 at 232, and 1,000 at 230, because you don't know how low it's going to go, but you do know that based on the chart, there should be some support at 230. So you leave those orders out there, and then you just sit and wait. You don't have to do anything. Once you identify the level of support you want to play off of, you let the orders just wait and see if they get filled. If they do, great, you're in the trade. If they don't, oh well, you missed it. Go on to the next one. No need to chase these. And you can see, boom, eventually it did retrace, and you would have been filled most of your shares as it hit a low of 232. So you wouldn't have had your whole size, but that's okay. You don't need to go in all in on every single trade, and you don't need to go too aggressive all the time. If the stock doesn't want to come all the way down to your support level, then you don't need to risk all of your money. You know what I mean? It works easier this way, because then there's no emotions in the trade. You made a plan way before, and you already have the orders that are waiting for the stock to come to you. That erases all the emotions of being in the moment and having to buy right when it looks like it's going to break down. It doesn't matter, you know? We don't know that the stock will bounce, but we do know that, you know, if we look at the chart, there should be support. So I'm willing to take the risk of buying at the level of support, and maybe we can get another break at over 265. And then you can see that would have worked out really well. It did break out over 265, hit a high of 309. So the one that I played was this dip buy here on 265. So I didn't play this one, I played this one. So we got this breakout over 265. Now I did buy the breakout using around 3,000 shares, not as much size as I usually do, just because the breakout pattern was there, but I did not hold on for super long because I knew it was going to pull back down to this 265 level. Well, not new, but there's a high chance of after the spike, it's going to pull back. So then once I exited that initial position, I said, okay, I want to buy this dip near 265. So what did I do? I left a bunch of different orders just waiting around that level. Let me just get up my chart real fast for GBR, just so I can show you guys my entries so you can see exactly what I mean. And this is a very important concept to understand. You do not need to know what's going to happen in the market to make money. I never know if whatever stock I buy is actually going to work. I base it off of risk reward. Okay, so let me just get down here. All right, so you can see here GBR, I bought into this dip here at 270. Now on this one, I did have my orders a bit too low. I had the 2,000 shares at 270. I had 2,000 shares at 265, and then I had 2,000 shares at 262, just in case we had like a quick breakdown under that would bounce back up. And I only was filled on my 2,000 shares at 270, which was fine. You know, if that's all the stock wants to give me, I'm not going to force buying any more shares. So I bought into that level of support. And the reason why I was able to get into this candle is because my order was already sitting here this whole time. I had my order waiting here, and I let the trade come to me. That's the way that you get the best entries on these stocks, is not by using market orders when you're buying dip buys. If you want to buy into a dip, you should have your limit order already at the level of support you want to buy at, waiting, and just wait until the stock comes to you. All right, so then once I bought that, I was like, okay, my plan for this stock is I am using the previous resistance as my support. If it drops to say 259, I will cut the loss. But if it breaks over 310, I will start to take profits. Anything that happens between those two levels, I do not care. It doesn't matter to me, because all I know is my risk and my plan. And my plan, like I said, buying into the dip at 265, selling at 310 for profit and cutting my loss at 259 if it breaks down. That means that I have a good risk to reward ratio because I'm risking around 10 cents per share with a profit of a $0.50 per share. So 1 to 5 risk reward. That's very good, and that means that you can take that trade 5 times. You can be wrong on every single one, and then when you have the last trade as a winner, it wipes out all those losses. So that's how you can really grow your account and become profitable. So you can see eventually we did have the breakout over 310, and I sold into that spike, and I sold way too soon because this eventually squeezed up even higher, 1 to 450. That's just fine though. Now the goal is not to hit the very bottom and the very top. The goal is just to find the play that is consistent and lock in those consistent gains, because these plays happen every single day. So there's no reason to blow up your account over one stock in one trade. Then now some other plays that I want to just go over real quick are CEI. Now this one, I am swinging this one over the weekend, have an average around the 40-cent area, and I'm looking to see this one hopefully gap up tomorrow. We're seeing overall the oil sector is very hot, so tomorrow be sure you watch. Let me just get up my watch list from my chat room. Here's the watch list: GBR, PED, CEI, YUMA, OGEN, and TGC. These are all having very big volume today because oil prices are spiking. So that is causing all of these to have overall volatility based on the industry that they're in, and they're all seeing massive volume. CEI is up 77%. GBR, like I said, up like 130%. Not sure why that's not showing up, but overall, let me just break these down real fast. CEI, same thing that I always talk about: previous resistance becomes support. It's such a important thing to understand, but there's so many people who frankly watch my video lessons and like talk to me, and they don't understand how to draw levels of support and resistance. And if you want to trade like I do, that's everything that you have to do. Just identify your levels, like you see right here. I just, hit a line right there, and the reason why I drew that line is because we have a top right here, and then we have these bottoms. If we didn't have these bottoms, well, this is still resistance because we can see that we had this massive spike and it stopped there. So I mean, to me, it's blatantly obvious, of course, but I mean, like, to you guys, it's probably not as easy to find out. But the only way to really practice it is just to, look at thousands of charts and just do it. I mean, like I said earlier, you can watch me like make these lines for years, but if you don't just try and do it yourself, then it's not going to work out for you. So yeah, next levels of resistance was right here, round number of 35 cents. You can see we had this overall resistance up in this area, and then once we broke out of it, it came back down, retested it, bounced off of it, so it confirmed support. And then same thing happened at the 42-cent mark. It was resistance in after hours, broke through it, came back down, and it's been bouncing off of it ever since. Now these two big candles, they're just fake. That happens sometimes with E-Trade Pro on these low price stocks. Not really too sure why, but don't worry about those. Some of the stocks, SAEX, this one went absolutely parabolic today. Looks like I might squeeze even higher tomorrow. But now this one, now I did play this one on accident, and it could have been a very, very, very big disaster. SAEX. I was looking at the ones, I just messed up those words. I was looking at this one. I was about to trade it, but then I wanted to trade GBR. So I accidentally bought 1,000 shares of SAEX instead of GBR. But thankfully, I was able to resell it right away and sell for a profit. It was probably like the quickest money I've ever made in my life, because it was a total accident. At like one point, I was down 800 unrealized. It was pretty scary, but thankfully I was able to get out with a pretty decent profit right there. So other than that, no other trades. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick little lesson. If you guys want to trade with me and the Trade Buddy community, there is a link down below to join the Trade Buddy chat room. I am in there every single day from pre-market until after market close, giving out my the plays, giving out my watch list, and giving out my plan for the day, and just overall just giving out alerts on what stocks are the best to trade and what stocks have patterns that I am familiar with. All right, but of course it's not just me in there. There are so many traders in there who are very amazing at what they do. We have swing traders, we have a whole bunch of day traders, we have people who play like low priced plays only, high priced plays only, and everything in between. So if you want to check that out, and if you want to surround yourself with a community who is completely focused on becoming better traders, you can check that out down below. Alrighty guys, make sure that you check out my Twitter page. It's at Tony Ivanov. You check out my Instagram page at Tony Ivanov. There's links down below. And if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.